if I touch a meal. And do it through the pain, I don't need the pain. And life gon' get me down, but it won't break my will. Cause I've been chasing this so long, I can't give up. I won't give in, been through too much. I done prayed for the money, I done prayed for the fame. I done prayed that I will make a sacrifice and play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed that I will make it bring glory to my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to announce a special guest that I have not actually met in person, but I've known for a while, Miss Kimberly, aka LilBaesian.
What's up? What's up?
How are you doing today?
Super good. Happy to have the opportunity to be on here and share this conversation with you. Admittedly, I didn't go to sleep until about 6 o'clock in the morning. So that was a little bit tough, but thank you for being accommodating. And he actually pushed this back an hour for me to be able to jump on here.
Of course, of course. So I think I just want to get straight into it because I normally have a lot of the guests I have on are people that are on all, frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want you to kind of introduce yourself, where you're from, grew up, however much you want to give, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So originally I'm from Vietnam. I'm half Vietnamese and then half white. The other half of me is, I think it's 25% Ashkenazi Jewish and then 25% British. So pretty much just split down the middle. But I was actually born in Vietnam. My parents brought me over when I was maybe about 8 months old. So I've pretty much lived in America my entire life. And I grew up in this really, 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 really small town. It's called Ash Grove, Missouri. Technically, I claim Springfield just because it's like the closest city. It's the same as when people say they're like from Fort Zumwalt West and they're like, oh, I'm from St. Louis. You're like, you're not really from St. Louis.
Right, yeah.
So I grew up in a really small town. It's a population of about 1,000 people. My graduating class was about 60 kids, and we had the largest class in like the last 10 years. So it was very intimate. Everybody knew everybody's secrets. And then after high school, I went to Mizzou. I think that's just how we connected, is just, the circles that may be and the power that is Mizzou. Then after that, after my college career, I ended up working at Mizzou for, I think, about 3 years before the pandemic happened. And unfortunately, my program that I was the coordinator of, our program was getting closed down. So due to budget cuts, I knew I was going to lose my job after about a year. So thankfully I had some time, but I knew after that I could have either looked for another opportunity at Mizzou or I could try somewhere else. So I decided to move to Los Angeles, which was a huge culture shift. And the first year, I want to say, it was like the hardest thing I think I've ever done. And then I finally slowly started to, find my people in the places that I enjoy going. So I've been here for about 3 years now. Yeah.
And then what was your major at Mizzou?
Biochemistry and communication. So
biochemistry and communication.
What is yours?
It was physics and astronomy.
Dang, that's crazy.
That's actually, so where does that come from? Because I'm always interested when people have STEM fields. I get very curious.
I think a lot of times, when you grow up in underprivileged areas. So like I said, I grew up in a really small town that has experienced a lot of poverty. I think when you grow up in areas like that, it's a huge push for you to, get out of the mud, right? You got to pursue a career in STEM. So I think that's where a lot of the motivations came from. And then also one of my best friends when we were in high school, her mom was actually the high school teacher. She was the chemistry teacher. And the very first day of school, I remember vividly that she purposely lit her desk on fire. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the entire world. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And then I met so many amazing people in college. And so I'm really grateful because I'm actually separated from my family, which is, I guess, a whole other piece to my story. So all of the people that I've met throughout my life has really become a part of my family.
Okay. And then how was that transition from, so the department at Mizzou, was that related to your major?
I'm sorry?
So when you said you were working at that department in Mizzou, that was...
Oh, yeah. No, actually it wasn't. So that was the whole reason why I made the switch to like communications, because I feel like I was getting so many different roles that had nothing to do with biochemistry. And so I was actually working underneath, it was underneath the School of Health Professions. It was for the athletic training program. We were actually housed in Hearns. So I was around the student athletes all the time, just working up there. And it was kind of in an sector area where nobody really walked past. So people really didn't know we existed, but I worked in that position. I was the program coordinator for about 2.5, 3 years. And when the pandemic happened, they told us that we just needed to teach out the last class of seniors before we could have to look for somewhere else, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And then what got you to LA?
Honestly, I wish it was something better than I just don't want to deal with the snow anymore. I can't handle it. I've lived in Missouri my whole life, and I'm sick of it. So I wanted to live somewhere warm. I knew I wanted to live in a big city at least once in my life, just to see, kind of the hustle and bustle and how I fit in there. So it was either Texas, Georgia, or California. And I decided to pick Los Angeles just because I had a couple friends that had lived out here. And they just made the transition a little bit easier. But honestly, surprisingly enough, I didn't really get to see them when I first moved here. I saw them maybe twice a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just busy.
I mean, I think the hard thing about big cities too is there's so much traffic. There's a lot going on. You've got your own personal lives. So it's so hard to make that time to see your friends. It's not as easy as when you live in Missouri and, your best friend is 5 minutes down the road or 10 minutes down the street. And
Right.
you guys can just, oh, hey, what are you doing right now? Right this very second. It's
Yeah.
in LA and in big cities, you have to plan it out, 2 weeks in advance. What are you doing on December 17th? Do you want to go grab some food? And then, 2 weeks rolls around and they say, oh, I got to cancel. I can't do it anymore. So it's a little bit different. And that's one thing I really do miss about being in a place like Missouri is that it was easier to make friends and to see those friends.
Yeah. And yeah, I totally understand the leave Missouri because that's essentially how I ended up in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
Because the first opportunity I got to leave, I basically took it and I didn't want another winter there.
Exactly.
So now, what all, obviously you can, don't feel like you got to share everything you don't, but what are you see, it seems like you do a lot. You seem like a very like kind of like a hustle mindset. You seem like,
You are too though.
Well, I feel like that's why it's interesting, right? Because I feel like even personality wise, I feel like I gravitate towards people that are just hard workers in general and do a lot. So like, what's a day in the life of LilBaesian? Like what all kind of stuff do you have going on?
I've got a lot, honestly. I do work a full-time job. I work at UCLA. So I do work a full 40 hours a week. Thankfully, it is a hybrid role. So only a couple times out of the week, I have to actually go into the office, but I don't currently have a car at the moment. So I take public transportation everywhere. So it takes me about an hour and a half to get to work, an hour and a half to get home. So sometimes I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to work, then coming home at around 7 o'clock at night, eat some food, get ready, and then I stream at 9 o'clock at night until 3 in the morning. So honestly, a daily life looks like I try my very best to prioritize work because, that's where the steady paycheck is at.
Right.
Then prioritize the things that I, kind of have to do, like go get groceries, do laundry,
Right.
Take care of yourself. I wish I could incorporate fitness a little bit more into that. So maybe you can help me out with that.
Of course.
And then after that, I try to prioritize the things that I love, which is streaming, reading books, seeing my friends, and trying to find new places to go and explore.
And what brought upon the streaming idea? Because it seems like the streaming's been going pretty well for you.
It actually has, which is really, really crazy. So it's really interesting. I started playing Fortnite when it first came out. So I was in college. I was so bad at the game. And then as time went on, I was really thinking about what would this look like if I started streaming. One of my other friends, Sabrina, she was streaming Fortnite at the time. She was doing it on Facebook. I don't actually think she ever really dipped her toe in Twitch, but she did Facebook Live. And she was making so much money from it and having a good time. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try streaming. I rebranded myself. I made sure that all of my social media profiles matched this new, my gamer tag originally used to be Lil Mama Kim, but I couldn't take that because some other girl already has it on Instagram.
Okay.
So I ended up changing it. I did a poll. LilBaesian was the one that, seemed to be the best fit. Changed everything. That was around, I want to say 2019, maybe 2018. I changed my name and I was like, yeah, I'm going to start streaming. And then it never happened. So it went on the back burner. I bought like a neon sign. I was like,
Mhm.
I'm really going to do all this. But then that hurdle of just getting the PC, I was just making up a lot of excuses for myself. Oh, I'm not going to stream because I don't have a PC. I'm not going to stream because, I don't have a nice apartment yet, or all of these excuses. And then finally, the reason that kind of pushed me in the catalyst for how I was able to start this journey was that unfortunately, I actually lost my job. I got laid off early this spring. I got laid off in March, and that was earth shattering to me.
Mhm.
I've never not had a job, at least definitely not on purpose like that. So
Right.
it was really hard for me to figure out what I was going to do. I decided, you know what, I need something to do and I should just pull the trigger. So I took my little 2-week stipend that they gave me for my, severance package, which is nothing, by the way. And I bought a PC. I bought a PC on discount. I got it from Best Buy, just a pre-built. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my all into it. I'm going to use this as a creative outlet just to at least have fun. And I'm so grateful that it's actually taken off. People, for some reason, enjoy the stream, which is really
Right.
nice.
Now, I have another question. Are we ever going to see a comeback in the podcast space? Because I was an avid weekly listener to
That's
the pod.
crazy. You know what? I'm so surprised to hear that because a lot of people don't know that that exists. My friend and we actually
I
just,
was subscribed. I had the notifications on.
that's insane. Well, I love the support. Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm actually using the same microphone that I used to use with the podcasting, but it's hard. The person that I was doing it with, she's a lawyer. She just passed the bar exam, so good for her. Shout out,
Right.
Jordan. So I don't think we would do it again together, but I could dip a toe into the podcasting world. I think that is more of a reality if I, take the content creation to a full-time status. That's
Right.
something that I would really get back into.
Right. I was just curious.
No, I love to hear that.
I remember one time it had been maybe a couple weeks, and I was like, I don't remember getting a notification that episode dropped. So I looked, and there was no. So I just, I just feel busy.
Yeah.
Life. I get how it goes. Now I want to get into the meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into it.
What makes Kimberly tick? Like what's your motivation when you wake up every morning and you pursue the things you're pursuing? What is your foundation and why you keep going?
Oh, that's a really good question. Dang, you are coming with the heavy hitters. What really gets me going? I want to be happy and I want to be able to put myself in a better position than I've been in the past. So since I am separated from my family, I think like all kids, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had a lot of learning lessons and I've struggled to, kind of just do things by myself. So I would love to have that one financial stability to say that, I'm going to be okay in the way that the current, socioeconomical background is at the moment. It's so hard to do anything. Everything is so expensive. So I think my number one thing is that I would love to have, financial freedom. I want to be as creative as possible. That's something that really motivates me. I think I don't really care about being famous. I don't care about having $1 million in the bank. I just want to be happy and to be able to, enjoy this life as best we can.
Right.
And then also I need another puppy. Unfortunately my puppy passed away over the summer. So I'm really motivated to work hard so that I can get another dog. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just I want to be creative and have fun with life.
Okay. Now, what's the end game? Like, what's the ideal, not style of living, but I guess you go there, but like 10, 20 years from now, let's say you've reached your peak in terms of your career and social life. What does that look like to you? Like, what's the ideal end game?
Right. I think it depends. So in my professional career, if I continue working at UCLA, which I mean, at the current moment, that's exactly what I plan to do. I think, I would love to hit that 6-figure salary mark at some point in life. So that's the next goal. And I think I would be really happy with that. But if this content creation thing really becomes something that I'm pursuing full time, where it gets to be to the point where I can quit my job, I would really love to see myself in 10, 20 years having a community of people that really support a lot of the same values that I have, and then being able to use those values to actually create change. So my platform and my channel is very inclusive. We care about a lot of things. I have a lot of really hard conversations on my channel. And I'm hoping that, the more and more people that can be a part of that community, and the more and more times that we can have those conversations, I can make a difference in someone's life. So that would be the
Right.
goal. And again, to be able to maybe one day buy a house and have a car and travel. I want to go back to Vietnam. I've actually never been since, when I was a baby. So I would love to go in my adult years.
And are you only on Twitch at the moment?
I'm only on Twitch at the moment.
Okay.
See, there's this huge push for people to move over to a new platform called Kick.
Right.
Because the split is just so much better. I believe it's a 95-5 split. My thing though, in Twitch, I hate sponsor me Twitch, but they are absolutely killing us with the split. It's currently a 50-50 split, but once you hit partner status, you'll switch to a 75-25, which is,
Okay.
I need that split.
How hard is it to get to the partnership status?
Yeah, so the hardest thing, I actually have met all of the requirements except for the hardest one, which is you have to average at least 75 viewers every stream over a 30-day period. So
okay. Oof.
Out of a 30-day period, you have to have a minimum of 75 average viewers. So to be pulling numbers like that, you need to be at least having anywhere from like the 75 to 150, just floating around that range for 30 days. Right. And then even after that, you have to do an application process, and it's not like an automatic thing that you become partner. You have to apply. So they'll look through your whole channel, see if you're going to be a good fit, because basically you become a representation of Twitch. Once you hit partner status, you're able to be a creator that's on the panels when you go to TwitchCon. So the people that do the Q&A sessions, people who lead, meet and greets or community meetups. So I would really love that. That's kind of my next year goal for 2024. It's a very ambitious goal, but I'm really excited because my numbers have been really steady growing. So fingers crossed.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good goal, which I also want you, while we continue to talk, I need you to come with have some goals on deck.
Okay.
So I ask you that as well, since
All
we're in
right.
December. Now, what is your superpower?
My superpower is, I think, being able to create a space where a lot of different people from different, walks of life, personalities can all kind of come together and feel safe. I think that's something that even outside of streaming, I've been able to, I get along with a lot of different people. So I really feel like I have the ability to connect with people regardless of where they come from, what their personalities are, what their beliefs are. I feel like I really can create a space where people feel safe and open to share whatever they feel. So I think that's my superpower.
Where do you think you got that from?
I'm not a big zodiac person, but I'm a Libra, and I think that it's just, we're all in the mix. We're all about that balance. No, but I think it's come from, I grew up in a small town, so I've got a lot of different, you've only got an option of 60 people to be friends with. So you got to be friends with all of them. And then on top of that, I think I used to be a really, really introverted person, and college thankfully broke me out of my shell, and I was able to have amazing conversations with people who I probably would have never met had I not gone to college. So yeah, I think that's really what kind of triggered me to become this person. And yeah, I don't know. I think I'm a weirdo at heart, so I get along with a lot of people.
And that actually brings up another question I have. In terms of your upbringing, do you have any siblings?
I have half siblings. I have 2 half brothers and 1 half sister, at least that I know of. But as I mentioned before, I'm actually separated from my family, so I have not had any contact with my family for, I think, about 8 or 9 years now, which is a really long time. I didn't grow up in a good household. So that's why it's so important and special for me to meet people that I can really trust in and that have become my family. Like even for Christmas, I'm going to my best friend's house to spend Christmas for a week with her family in Kansas. The people that are my friends, I really hold close to my heart. And I'm so grateful for everybody who I've met along this journey.
Right. So because sorry, all these
Mhm.
questions get brought because I kind of want to dig. I obviously don't want to dig too
No,
deep,
go for it.
but I know for me, I'm from Nashville.
Hmm.
Went to Missouri, knew nobody when I first got there. Obviously made friends. Then I moved to San Antonio. I know nobody. But I find myself needing some type of like an elder. Like for me,
Yeah.
I obviously can go to my parents, talk to them. I talk to my mom weekly. I talk to my dad pretty weekly as well. Both my parents are still together. And then I have two younger brothers. And I mean, when when the middle brother, when he calls me, it's a 4 hour call.
Yeah.
We just talk. We're just talking.
Hmm.
Um, so I assume, so what's the dynamic in your support? Because you say your friends,
Hmm.
is there like a friend's aunt that you also view as an aunt, or do you have aunts or uncles that are kind of like what's your support from not only from our own age, but as well maybe like people older that you might look to?
Right. I think my support group really does consist of my peers. As
Mm,
far as people who I can look up to who are, coming from that, wiser perspective, that elder position, I would say that a good majority of those people are coming from the families of the friends that I consider my family, so like
right,
my best friend's mom and dad, I call them mom and dad.
right,
Do I call them up, when I'm having a hard day? No. Maybe that's something that I could, work on and try to do that more often. So kind of how since I am a really introverted person, how I deal with a lot of things and where I look for and guidance, I read a lot. I read a lot of
mm,
books. You
gotcha,
can't see underneath this desk, but this entire wall is just books. So I try to think about the lived experiences of people who have come before me, and I think books are a really great way to go through and see how people have dealt with adversity in their lives. So I really find comfort in that. I should do better at reaching out, but I think that I get my support from my friends, especially when I'm having those hard days. There's a lot of people who I've called absolutely sobbing, and they've been there and
right.
helped talk me through it. But as far as guidance, I usually get them from books.
Okay, I might need some tips on some. I'm trying to get into
Okay.
reading books. I just I read so much. My
Mm-hmm.
excuse is I read so much on when I'm on campus. The last thing I want to do is read in my free
A
time.
hundred
I
percent.
just, but what's your favorite book? Or like, can you pick one, or do you like maybe a couple of your favorites?
It's tough because in my recent years have been more of a nonfiction person, a lot of like
Hmm.
self-help books, a lot of like activist books.
Right,
But in my past, I was a huge fiction person. So Game of Thrones is my favorite book series of all time. Favorite TV show, favorite book series. I love Game of Thrones.
okay, okay,
Um, as far as other authors that I really like, I like a lot of poetry. So Halsey actually has a poetry book. Rupi Kaur, Amanda Seales has a great book on just she gem drop in. So she just drops a bunch of knowledge on you.
right.
I read a lot of books from people's personal experiences. I'm currently reading A Court of Thorns or Court. Whoa, words are hard. A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's a series. It's science fiction. I think they might even be making it into a movie, but I haven't got that far into it yet. So
Okay, okay, okay. And I just had another one, but I lost it. It was a golden question too,
Ugh,
but we'll get back to it because I do have some. So we are in December.
mhm.
The year is closing out.
Okay.
What are your goals for 2024? I want a I want a personal goal.
Mhm.
I want a professional career goal, and I also want, you kind of already gave the Twitch one. So I was gonna say, your Twitch thing, but you gave that one. So I want personal as well as work or
I've
any
got a
other
couple other
goals.
Twitch ones too. Yeah. So I
Okay,
can
yeah.
say some more Twitch ones.
Lay them on
Um,
me.
a personal goal, I am slacking when it comes to my physical health. I absolutely need to get my booty in the gym. So, and no, I'm talking to like the worst person to say this to. You know what's
That's
so
crazy.
bad? I don't even have to pay for a gym membership. I have a gym in my apartment and I have just not gone enough. So maybe I need you to hold me accountable because I have not done it yet. Just
Oh,
finding
I
the
can do that.
time. Oh, I know it. He's gonna bully me about this after this, guys. Um, so I think just like that's my next goal is finally trying to like stop coming up with excuses and work that into my routine. I think all the time I'm like, oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I want to spend time relaxing or being on Twitch or seeing my friends and da 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 da. I come up with all these excuses, but really I should just go down there and just do it. Even if it's just 30 minutes, an hour, just go down and just get it done. So that's a personal goal. I would also personally, I would love to buy a car. I'm almost at the point to where shout out to Twitch because this Twitch money is about to be able to afford me to buy one. So that's really, really nice.
Okay. Go ahead now.
So that's another goal. And then I would love to get a puppy. Like I said, as far as a professional goal, I would like to complete a calendar year in my new role. So it's only been about 5 months since I got hired on. And I just think there's so much to learn. UCLA is so much larger than Mizzou. There's so many things that I'm just not aware of. And you really don't know until you've done it at least once. So I'm happy to, finally get to the point where I've completed a full calendar year and I'll actually, be able to kill it in the next year. And also I would like to get paid a little more, but that's okay. Outside of that, my Twitch goals, I've got a couple. So I really want to perfect my stream setup. I think it's really nice now. I just want to make it aesthetic. I want to be better at making reels and TikToks because I really don't get on that. Again, I find excuses to not make clips, but I think I should definitely strive to do a little bit more of those. Some other Twitch goals. I want to keep growing. I do want to hit that partnership mark. And then you know what? I can't even lie to you. I don't know if I could do it by 2024, but I would love to be a panelist. I would absolutely enjoy being on that. Maybe not so much on the stage at TikTok, but I would very much, or at TwitchCon, but I would 100% enjoy being able to be on a panel with a bunch of other amazing female gamers. So, yep.
And how good are you at Fortnite now?
Oof. See, that's a question. I'm not cracked at the game. So we make this joke on stream that like, y'all don't really come here to watch me play the game because I'm not good at it. I'm not good. I would say there's a significant difference on how good I am at the game when I'm off stream versus when I'm on stream. So I'm so much better when I'm playing with my friends and I'm not live. Because when you're live, you're thinking about all these things. I'm DJing, I'm queuing up music, I'm reading the chat, and the chat is going crazy. When you've got 40 people in there and they're all spamming messages, you got to read that. I'm aware of the camera, so I have to make sure that I'm not making the most insane face on camera. And then talking to the people in my lobby and trying to play the game all at the same time. It's a lot. So I would say I'm good at the game-ish, but I'm not cracked by any means. I mean, I have friends that play mouse and keyboard and they can throw up a 5-star hotel in 2 seconds. So I don't even play builds anymore. I just play 0 builds. But another challenge that I'm trying to do for Twitch is that I really want to try to diversify my gaming. I really only play Fortnite. I've tried to play a couple other games on stream, but I really want to get more into being a variety streamer. So having more games that people can watch.
You should think about GTA.
That's what a lot of people said. Well, maybe I'll wait until 2025 when GTA 6 comes out.
I can't wait. I play GTA to this day still, the 5th one.
I have a lot of friends that play.
Yes, it's fantastic. Now, I do remember what I was going to say earlier is I think you should think about writing a book.
If you think I'm at the point to write a book, you're crazy.
I'm just saying you have a very compelling story.
Okay.
You have somebody that's, you're an immigrant, right? Even, you were born in Vietnamese soil. You moved here. So you're raised with a different perspective than the majority of the people that live in America. Not only that, but even your situation is unique with being separated from your parents, going off to college with, I assume, no parental support, having to look, for friends. And you pretty much, you kind of walk through life in a very unique mindset. And yet you turned out, you're LilBaesian. You know what I'm saying? Like no cap. Okay. A lot of people, might be putting, a lot of people are put in these bad situations. They come out, terrible people, not necessarily their fault, but that's just the cards they were dealt.
Right.
And they just played a bad hand. You were dealt some pretty rough cards, and you found a way to win. You work for UCLA. You have like the LilBaesian, like, I don't know if you did that on purpose, but like that's like if somebody, like when I see a picture, like it's Kim and LilBaesian, it's like the same, like that persona or that
exactly.
I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, definitely. It's a brand.
Works.
It's a brand, 100%.
Yes, that's it. The brand is, for me, I've been a supporter, so I recognize the brand. And so I feel like you have a very interesting story if you decide to get vulnerable in the book and tell your story and how you got to where you are. I think it'd be a really good read.
I think I really super appreciate that. And you saying that means a lot. I would love to get to the point one day where I can publicly share a lot about my story. I have thankfully had the opportunity at Mizzou, like not to get a little too sentimental, but I'll just do a shameless plug. Take Back the Night at Mizzou. I really, if anybody has the opportunity to go, they do it on a lot of different college campuses, but if you have the opportunity to go, I highly recommend anybody to go and just participate and be a supporter for the people that are there and sharing their stories. I would love that in the future, I can get to that point where I can be really vulnerable and hopefully share my story to where, girls and people like me who've grown up in really hard situations can understand that, yeah, it sucks so bad when you're in it. And then finally, as long as you can just kind of grind it out until then, it will get better. Genuinely. It was hard. I would say even when I was in college, I put on like a really brave face for a lot of things. I think my persona on social media and a lot of what people saw was very different than what was going on in my personal life. I was struggling. I was going through some stuff. I don't know if we can curse on this podcast, but I was going through it. Okay. So, I mean, I would really love to be able to be in a position to share that story. I think that's another thing why financial freedom would really provide me that opportunity. I all know that I'll be protected. So I know that I can, be in the position to share my story without being afraid. So yeah, I would love that. I don't know about a book. Dude, it's so crazy to think about. You guys all say, so many people tell me, they're like, oh, I think the trajectory of this is that you're going to be famous. And that is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Why is it crazy?
I don't want to be famous at all. I don't want to be famous. You know why? Just honestly, the amount of just ugly pictures people have of me, that's one. Two, it just seems like the craziest thing that I could be in a Starbucks one day and someone will walk up to me and be like, oh my God, that's LilBaesian. That's LilBaesian. They're like zooming in on their screen. And then TMZ is going to put this crazy picture of me with a fat double chin at Starbucks looking at my phone. Yeah, see, that just seems so scary. But yeah, I don't know. Fame is scary. Don't you think?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Wait, why?
Well, I think it can be annoying, especially, the levels of fame. If you're like, I don't know, LeBron James famous, or like you can't even go to the grocery store. Like that might be obnoxious, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's scary to me. I don't know if that's just the theater that I've taken in me. Get it? Because I used to have really, really bad stage fright.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
And talking in front of people, and I used to get like my heart. I could feel my heart pounding through my chest. Then I took theater in high school and at Mizzou, and I got over it now. Like, crowds don't bother me, talking in front of cameras don't bother me, all that stuff. But I can see it though. I think you're on your way, believe it or not. So just be ready. Oh gosh.
Okay, well, you heard it here, folks. Right here. You heard it here first. Yeah, I don't know. I think the platform, and I've talked about this on stream sometimes too. It's twofold, right? So if you were to have a huge following or fame, you have the ability to make more change in the world and to make a difference and to be able to have a platform to share. But at the same time, you're subjecting yourself to so much scrutiny. I think every time I get on Instagram, I immediately run to the comments because the comments are so funny. But every time you go in there, it's so polarizing. You've got someone posting a video of their kid, and then you've got 100,000 people and they're saying that they're a bad mom, and then 100,000 other people saying that you're the best mom. And I don't know, that kind of pressure of scrutiny of people telling me that I'm doing something wrong is, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, which is crazy because people will come into the chat and they'll say something, so wild and just out of pocket. And that's okay to me. But I think that that's just because it's, one person out of the sea of other people who are
I
here to
see.
support. But when you get to this huge level of platform, I don't know if I can face, 100,000 people telling me something like that. I don't want a bunch of people on the internet reading me. But we'll see. I don't know. That reminds me though. I just think that as you were saying that you kind of got over your stage fright and your ability to talk to people, I feel like you should be going and doing talks at like high schools and stuff, don't you think? Have you ever wanted to do that?
Like what kind of talks?
Just like motivational ones, or like, I mean, I just think you have your hand in so many different things, and I think that you also have a great story to tell. Maybe if you like just came in and talked to kids during like a seminar or like one of their free periods or something, and you just were able to, sit down and have, a bunch of young minds and tell them that, hey, it's okay to just pursue whatever you want to do, it's
Yeah,
okay. And like, I don't know. I think you would be so good at it.
yeah. I haven't really thought about it. I wouldn't mind it. I would definitely give it a shot.
Because I
You
think
know.
about even like your Uncle Strib talks that you've got on here, when you talk about all these challenging things like procrastination and like
Oh yeah.
all, I think that you could be a really great mentor. Okay, so maybe that's more as I'm talking through it. You could do like a mentorship program, at a high school
Yeah.
that maybe you grew up in, or, a local one. I think that would be so great.
Yeah. I actually think that might be actually kind of fun.
I
Now that I
think you
think about it.
should. You should think about, as I would love to have a mentorship program, maybe an after school program to hang out with like, young boys and kind of just be like a young Black leader to them. I think that
Right.
would be great. You should think about
Actually,
it.
yeah. I actually have this giant like way out there goal in life. I want to start a foundation,
Mhm.
and I want to start it back in Nashville, and it start off as like a community service thing to like give back and all that stuff. But I eventually want it to be like this super national. Like I want to help with national disasters. I want to help with single parents, mothers and fathers. I want to help financial literacy in underrepresented communities. I want to help. Like I want to do so much with like starting as a foundation. Just a lot.
Yeah,
I have no idea how to even
absolutely.
start it, but
That's
I feel like
okay.
mentorship. I want to have mentorship of you kind of, to me, I feel like it's one thing to like, oh yeah, you should do this, you should,
Hmm.
this is how you do it. And then there's a difference between that and telling people, and also, okay, let me guide you throughout, maybe a certain period of your life, how to do it. Or,
Right.
here's
Exactly.
my number, let's talk maybe once a week, once a month, let's figure this out. I feel like there's a thing to being an actual mentor
Hmm.
versus somebody that just is um I guess just gives you the information.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate that. That's something I should definitely throw in the hat
Yes.
down the road. But now it's time for it's time for my favorite part of my Uncle Strips.
Okay, let's get it.
Before I sign up for Uncle Strips, I always ask my guests, you have to give me 3 pieces of advice. They can either
Mm.
be advice that you are following now or things you wish you had known earlier
Okay, that's a good
in life.
one. Mm. 3 pieces of advice. Hold your friends close. Those people that you trust, who support you, who ride for you no matter what. They could be people who you don't even talk to that often, but you know that every single time you guys talk, it's all love, all support, all day. If you needed anything from them, they would drop whatever they were doing and be there for you. Hold those people so near and dear to you, and then support them back. That's the biggest thing. Is I've got people who, I've got this group of maybe about 5 to 10 people who, some of them I only talk to once or twice a year, but we are like this. And I would do
Right.
anything for them. So that's one thing that I would always give advice to. And then Another would be to stay true to yourself. I think it's really hard, especially when you're putting yourself in a position to do things that you're uncomfortable with. Uncomfortability leads to growth, right? Challenging yourself to do things that you're not necessarily, ready to do, putting yourself out there, amazing. But I think also it's really easy to get kind of lost in the sauce sometimes and forget about who you are as a person. And since moving to LA, that's something that I always wanted to do, was stay true to the person that I am. So make sure you never lose sight of what your motivations are, who you are as a person, and how you want to move through life. And then the last one is have fun. Honestly, laugh about every single thing. It can, things could get so much worse at any given moment. So you might as well just try to laugh it off if you can. Have some dark humor, hang out with a good friend who makes you laugh every single time. Anytime you see something negative, just laugh, just have fun, and try to take those opportunities to just have a good time. I think another thing, sorry, as a fourth little piece of advice, a lot of times,
however many you want.
we try to take time off. A lot of people use their PTO for, like their sick days when they need a mental health day, when they're just having a hard time, they're overwhelmed with work. I think we should take PTO and mental health days for when you're at the highest of the high, when you're having a great time, when you're killing it at work, you're like, oh, I just feel so good. I'm not struggling mentally, but I'm just feeling really good about life. Those are the days that you should take off, capitalize on those moments. Go to Disneyland, go to the place that you've always wanted to go to, go try that restaurant that, you couldn't try, go take care of yourself, go get a pedicure. Those are the times when you should take those moments and really kind of cherish the times that you are feeling happy. And then of course, take care of yourself when you're on the down and outs too. So.
Awesome. I've actually never heard that perspective on PTO.
Yeah. I've just recently started doing it.
There's actually, I feel like it's like when you say it, it's like, duh, like, of course, like it makes sense, but
yeah,
I've never heard that before. That's a good one.
I think I didn't even realize that it was a thing until I started streaming, because I feel so obligated to stream all the time. And I've taken a lot of breaks from streaming when I'm just overwhelmed and I'm having a hard time, emotionally, mentally, physically. So I've taken breaks for that. But then recently I started being like, you know what? It's a beautiful day. I'm having an amazing time. I think my life is incredible at the moment. I'm going to take a day off. Love you guys so much, stream. I'll catch you guys in 2 days. I'm going to see you later and do everything that I want to do this weekend. So take those times to just really enjoy when you're feeling your absolute best.
Well, fantastic. I couldn't have said it better myself. Ladies and gentlemen, people of all genders, ethnicities, and backgrounds, this has been another episode of Uncle Strib with the lovely LilBaesian. We'll catch you guys next time.
Alrighty, catch you later.
I'm gonna chase my